All right, young art students, welcome back to another fun-filled epic drawing lesson. All right, so today we're going to I'm going to show you guys how to draw clothes. I'm going to show you in a serious way and a not so serious way because there are a lot of clothes. There are probably as many clothes designs as there are flowers in the world because there's just so many different types of clothes and designs and so forth. And you might be someone that wants to become a potential clothes designer. So for you guys, I'm going to put a little extra detail in these clothes. And for the rest that just wants to draw cartoons or just put some clothes on their characters, we're going to do the easy way out. So I'm going to give you both ways. So get your pencil, sharpen, and your paper, and let's get started. So I'm not going to do any bodies today. I'm not going to like draw characters and put bodies. I'm going to show you how to do clothes first. So you have to know how to do the clothes and what goes into the clothes. Then you can put it on the body. So the next video, I'm going to show you how to do an easy body or easy bodies so that you can put clothes on them, because some of my friends want to learn how to do superheroes and do the muscles. And I tell them, if you're putting clothes on somebody, there's no need to do all these muscles, these stomach muscles and these big old chest muscles, because you're just going to cover it up anyway. So that's why you do the easy body. You get the form right, and then you put the clothes on it. And now when you put clothes on it, there are like wrinkles and compressions and so forth and bends and so forth in the clothes. So you have to get that right. And that's for you guys who want to do clothes designs, and we'll get into that as we go along with each video. So let's get started. Let's start out with the basic t-shirt, design. Let me throw my glasses on so I can see a little better. All right, basic t-shirt design. And I'm going to draw big, and I'm going to go through a lot of paper because the last video I was drawing really small. So t-shirt is like this. You want to have a rectangle first. Just a rectangle. That's very simple. And as I say, you have to get to know these shapes. You have to manipulate your shapes. You put this half of circle in here, like that. And then you put a line here and a line there. And then I'll make this a little longer and then cut it off like that. And that is your basic t-shirt. Now let's get rid of this. Get rid of this because there's going to be a, the back part of your t-shirt. So you just put a little half a happy smile. If I put a nose and an eye, it's like having a little smile. Make that a little big. If you put a nose in, so basically that's all this is. So it's easier to draw something that you understand than it is to try to draw something you don't understand. This is why I do shapes on everything. So now when you have your t-shirt, t-shirts don't really have too much stitching in it, just like around the collar, and then you can actually put some lines depending on the type of shirt that you have. They have stitching around here, and then they have stitching around these arms here, the sleeves. But that's when you get really close up to a t-shirt. Like if you look at mine, you see the stitching on that. But if you're far away, you won't see that. So no need. Other than this, if this was a separate color, let's grab my color pens again. So makes it a little more colorful and a little easier for you. Depending on the type of shirt you do, if you're doing a colored shirt, let's just do purple just because. Let's say your shirt is green with a purple collar. Then you would put the little stitch lines in it. And of course, you have it back there, but your head is going to be back there so you won't see it. So, and then of course, to make something better, you can put designs. Any type of designs. You can put your name, your friend's name. You can put a picture of your dog. You can just put whatever. And that just makes your character a little better, or your drawing a little better when you add stuff to your clothes. Whatever you want to put. Designs in your clothes. Whatever you want to put. Maybe this is like summertime design, and you want to show guys going out to the beach, and you go see the stars and play volleyball or whatever, and then you can add more color to it. I'm not going to stay too long on one t-shirt, just showing you all the different things you can do to it. But that's just a basic t-shirt design, that square or that rectangle. You have to have it long enough to at least go past the waist, the belt. So it's just that square. Chop out that, make a little bite out of that, a happy smile, and then just a little rectangle here, just one line down, and there. And then you have a t-shirt. That's a baby shirt, but you can have your t-shirt as long as you want, extra long shirt. All right, so that's your t-shirt. Now, as I say, once we learn the bodies, then I will come back and I'll put these clothes on the people and show you the things like when you put a t-shirt on where they wrinkle up at, because all your clothes have those wrinkles in them, or should we say folds, and not really wrinkles. It's like when you bend your arm, you see these little folds or compression folds that come together. So yeah, I'll show you all that later. So okay, t-shirt. Now let's do some pants. So pants are just going to be straight line, straight down, and it's going to be the same with shorts. Straight down. It's like you're doing a capital A. If you do the capital A, a thick capital A, you just bring it up to the point, and that's it. You won't have to do this and this, the whole A thing. So you're just making the outer shape of the capital A. Or you do a triangle down. Let's try another way. If you're having a hard time with that, do a triangle like that. Do another triangle that goes over it. Flatten that out, and then flatten this out. Maybe have this not too long, or just bring this up more. And then you will have some pants. Of course, you can adjust them because you don't want them to be so narrow here. But if doing the letter A was kind of hard, that's an easier way to do it. Okay, so we have our pants here. Now there are things in your pants that we all know that you have to draw. So there is that, I don't what this is called, that little flap for male, and this is for male and female. But I think the women's pants, this is reverse. It's like this. So if you do a rectangle, and then you just chop it in a corner like that, it's like this. And then these are jeans. Let's just say these are jeans. Let's bring these legs up a little higher just because I want to be perfect. So you chop that, and then they have a seam. All jeans have these seams, these stitches, because the material is so thick, so they're stitched like on the side, and the pockets and so forth. And if you wear jeans, just take a look at it. If you're wearing jeans, take a look at them and you'll see what I'm saying. So we have this. It's kind of almost like a knife, but you're just going to draw that rectangle like that, and then chop it off to the side. And I think for the women, it's reversed. I might be mistaken, but I think it's just reversed for the women. So you're going to have just a little stitch right here. You're going to have a stitch that goes right across here. This is for your belt. This is extra material for your belt. Then you're going to have your belt loops, which is going to come from the top and then past that line. You can have two, you can have one, and then you have your pockets. Your pockets are either going to be curved like this. Remember, there's always that double line, or they could be straight like that. It depends on the design that you want to use. Now let's ink this because I don't want to get too many pencil lines. And before I ink that, let's do this. You have of course, you have your button, which is going to be right there in the center. So if I ink this real quick, you're going to have this. You're going to have this little extra stitch that goes right down there. You're going to have the stitch on your pocket. Like I say, you can have the curved pocket or you can have the straight pocket. It depends on how you want your jeans or who makes your jeans. If it's Wrangler or if it's from the Gap. I don't think it's a Gap. Is it Clothesline or is it just a store name? I think it's Clothesline. You have your hooks. You have that extra stitch right here, which is like really, really tough. And of course, you have your stitch that's going to go down your side. And you really won't see that unless you turn the body. And you have that stitch that goes right down the middle as well, or on the inside as well. do this. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think you have that stitch that goes here. And this is for you hardcore clothes designers. When you do clothes, when you draw clothes, if you're doing a fashion design, that's what I'm trying to say. You're going to want to know how these things are actually made, and you're going to want to put your detail into them. So letter A, and then these are the stitches that are in your clothes that hold your clothes together. Now the difference between jeans and slacks, like if you're going to church or you're going to a party or you're going to some kind of event where you have to dress up, is that, let's do one over here. Since I want to kind of compare them, I'll do a shorter, smaller. Remember, like the letter A, and just go up to a point, drawing a triangle, and then back down. You don't want it too low. You don't want them too low. You don't want them too high. So about right here is going to be good. You're still going to have this, but you're not going to have that double stitch like they have here. You're going to have this single stitch line. Maybe not as deep as this, thick as this. So let me thin it out a little bit. Because when you wear jeans, they give you the big belts. You have the big belts. And when you wear like a suit, they give you like a thin belt. So it might not be as deep as this. So you're still going to have this, but most times you just see the way it's sewn. You just see the front and you barely see the back part of it, but you can just kind of do that. And then the pants, you don't usually see this. You have that. You can have the pleats. I don't want to get into doing clothes. You don't have as many belt loops. And then you're going to have that line, that seam line, that iron line, that crease. Now I have to start talking clothes. And that's going to be the difference between slacks and jeans. And as I say, the pockets, you will see them, but you won't see them, but it's not a double stitch like that. You may not see them because it's all in the crease, the material and the crease. They don't want a lot of different stitches and sewings to show up in your slacks. So same shape. Even women's going to be the same shape. The bigger difference is you just won't see too many sewn lines. I'm just going to put that there just because. And this little piece that's sewn in here to hold both legs together, you usually just have one little seam like that, and then not too many your belt loops. You can, but they really don't put as many as in jeans. And then you have a sewn, and it's only going to be one seam. It's not going to be a double like in the jeans. And then of course your crease. Usually if I do slacks, I will kind of put a little V in the front. Just a tiny one, and that way you'll know where the crease is for the pants. So now that's the difference between your jeans and your slacks. And sometimes they have those little folded pleats. I guess it's called a pleat, to where the material is folded so it kind of stretches a little bit. But the less lines you put in slacks, the better, and it just makes it look more expensive and like a nice little suit. All right, so you have your pants, your jeans, and it's going to be the same thing with shorts. If I drew shorts, depending on where you want them, you just cut them off like that. If you got jean shorts or regular kind of slacks shorts, or just regular jogging shorts. So it's still an A. Like that, a little thicker. You're gonna have this, and again, if it's, I'll leave that there. If it's the kind that you actually have to open up and close, you're always going to have this. If it's just something that you just slide on, you're going to have that waistband right there. And then you won't have anything here. You can have some stripes down the side, maybe a symbol somewhere, but that's basically it for the shorts. And you always have wrinkles somewhere. So this, and just go up and down lines like that, and you have your shorts. And I'll round these off just because. And then I can do something like colorful. Like here's my stripes. Now this is just the basics of doing clothes. As I say, when you put clothes on, there's always going to be wrinkles somewhere in your clothes. And we'll get into that later. It's more for the people that want to actually do detailed clothes or detailed picture. Oh, camera, you just jumped on me for a second there. What's wrong? You getting angry? All right, so we have that. So let's work on the, let's do a dress. Let's do a dress. Now, dresses are, there are so many dresses. Now, I can show you how to draw, but I can't show you what to draw. Hopefully you can understand that, because you might say, I want to draw a dress. Or let's just say you say, I want to draw a flower. Teach me how to draw a flower. There's so many flowers. There's roses and lilies and lilacs and all kind of flowers. So I can't see what you want. I can only show you how to draw a flower, but you have to learn what type of flower you want. So now a dress, there's a lot of depends in there. Depends on the size, depends on the style, depends on the cut. You know, only you know that, but let me just do a quick dress for you. Now, let's just do this. Let's just say here is a long rectangle. So the dress could be, depending on the cut, let's just say, let's get a V-neck like this and going down. Almost like we did the t-shirt, except this part is going down, because a female shoulders are not like a man's shoulders. So, and I said I want to keep this so you can kind of look at this at the same time. So like that. Then you have the cut that's going to be like under the arm, and this is a sleeveless. That's something else you have to take in consideration. And the dress is usually cut to fit a woman's female or a girl's female. A girl's female? Or girl's shape, the shape of a woman or a girl. So it's not going to be just flat like this for like a guy's t-shirt. They just use material and you put it on and it falls wherever. They want a woman to have a nice shape. So you're going to be like, and this is kind of like making the letter Y. If I did the letter Y like this, like that. You bring this over and you bring it over, and that's a good start. You bring it in and then you bring it back out. So bring it back out. Now that's a typical kind of type of dress. Now, and then if I put the head, let's say I put the head here, shoulders and the arms here. Now that's a short sleeve. Now if I put sleeves on there, it would be the same as this. And I didn't show you long sleeve shirts. I'll show you that in a second. So let's just keep going with this. Now, is there a belt on the dress? Is there just, is it just the material that you can stretch? There's just so many things to it. Is it like a two-piece thing with just a skirt? Okay, so there you have to think about that. The best thing to do if you want to be a clothes designer, if you want to do some serious clothes, is to find pictures of it. And if you find a picture of your dress, you basically, or dress or shirt or whatever, you basically know the starting point. So it'll be easy, other than, you know, putting your designs in on your dress, you know, or your shirt or whatever you want to do. That's the fun part, adding designs to it. So same thing with the this. Let's do this again. This is the shoulders. This is the head up here. So you can do the coming down off the shoulders, this kind of shape right here, curve it around, and then back down again. And then your dress can come down. You can, so that's like a V, that's a V. This is a short, what am I saying? These are going to be long on your shoulders, like this. Coming down, and this is just going to be like the string. Now, I don't know what they call a lot of the ladies' fashions, or how they would say each different piece. But you have that, you can have the round neck. You can have this round with a short. How would you do that? Like this. It could be deeply round. It could be shallow round. And coming down. So there's so many different ways that you can do the female dress. Even this, you can have this. It could come out straight across like that. But you want to kind of have it close, depending on the age. If you're drawing little kids, then you don't have to worry too much about the cuts. But you want to kind of have it coming in and then going out. Now, is it a long dress? Is it a short dress? Is it just really short dress? Is it under the knees? Is it going all the way to the ground? So you have to think about that. And even if this is good design, we have good design for a dress. I'm going to be a clothes designer next. Because I do comics, I do a lot of stuff, designing and so forth and so on. You might say, how do you know? Because I do comics and I draw a lot. I draw everything a lot. So again, depending on the cut of the dress, depending on the size of the dress, depending on the material of the dress, depending on the length of the dress, there are all kind of different dresses. So let me do one more just change it completely. It's more of a nightgown type of, not a nightgown, an evening dress type of thing. So you a V and you go up like this, almost like you're drawing a slingshot or upside down house. I look at that, it's an upside down house. Coming down, and then this part has got to come out to cover the body and back in. So you can have the gown kind of dress like that. Maybe, I don't know, some kind of big belt, big buckle belt. Or you can have just, like I said, the little you're losing it, Brian, you're losing it. Just the tight fitting dress, which would just curve around the body. Something with a split in it. Let's do this. And I didn't want this video to be so long, so I'm going to just kind of rush it. Let's just say here's like an evening gown type of dress, and you put a split like in the side of it. Very daring. Where is my other marker? So you guys can see what I just did. So there are numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers of designs for dresses that you can do. But if you look at, and just Google dresses, and then you'll see they're all kind of starting out the same. They're all made the same way, the different cut, different patterns, but then they use different material, or they could use some, I don't know what you would call that, to add to the dress, to change it just a little bit, just slightly a little. And Yeah, you Google it. Now that you know the basis of a dress, Google it, and then see, and then add on to it. So let's do this long sleeve because women wear t-shirts, same thing as men. Women wear t-shirts. And what about a collar shirt? So if we do a collar shirt is almost the same. So let's do this. A square just like the t-shirt or dress shirt. So a collar shirt is going to be around. It's going to go higher, and then it's going to come around. You do that little circle. It's like an oval, and then you do an A, the letter A, come down and down, down and down like that. So basically you did this A, okay, oval, and A, without that, come down a little bit on the side, and then down and around like that. Of course, your head is going to be here. And then this wouldn't be as wide. I just did this wide. I had to make a big head to fit that. And then if you want to put a tie, you put a V like this. I'm using my pen. Put that V, and then I'll chop it off right here. A flat. It's like a flat V. This, and flatten it out because the rest of your tie comes down. And then you put your tie like that. Then you have your shoulders, of course. And then there is a seam that connects that and your sleeves. Like that. So it's going to be come down like this, the stitching here, and then your sleeves. Now, without the tie, you're going to have this, and of course your buttons. Now, if the shirt was open, it's going to come like this. Let's draw the square again. It's going to come up. You have that V because the shirt is open, and then you're going to bring it up and down like two A's, or almost like a M, like that. Not all the way though. And then this is going to be the side right there. Because basically it's just this folded down like that. That's all your collar is. It's your material on your side of your shirt, fold it in, and then you would tuck your tie up underneath this. So hello, squeaky chair. So it's going to look like this. And of course, this is going to go around if you don't draw a person in there. So it's going to flap up, down, and around like that. And then it's going to cross over, and you're going to have your buttons buttoned down. And then just to be nice, you have that. So you can put this close if you want, or you can have it far out, but there's going to be shadow under here anyway. So remember that V, almost like the M. And this goes around. This goes around, and this goes around too. Of course, the head is going to be there. The collar shouldn't be that big, but the head is there. And your shoulders. Okay, so long sleeve, and it would be the same with the female shirts, except they would be a little tighter and it just doesn't go. Long sleeve is just a long line. And then you can have two different type sleeves depending on what you have. You can have the little sewn sleeve, the stretchy sleeves, or you can have, make this one a little shorter, the cuff sleeve like that. If you go to church you go to a lot of things, or your dad has to wear suits, it looks like that. That's your cuff sleeve. Now, let's do a hoodie real quick. The hoodie is almost the same as a shirt, except it's going to be a lot more material. So again, this, always start out with your shapes. Everything is a shape. Everything is a shape. You just have to manipulate those shapes to fit right. I'm trying to find something that I can explain. Like, let's use this little ruler. This ruler is a rectangle, just a rectangle, easy to draw. If you turn it to the side, you see just a little bit of the side of the rectangle. If you turn it to where you see the top, you're just going to see 3 sides of this thing. So you're going to have to be able to manipulate that. And that's the same with drawing people. When you draw people, you're not just going to draw people from the front all the time. You're going to want them to start moving and communicating with people. So you're going to might end up drawing them more from the top or from the bottom. Whereas you would be looking down, like if you had a camera pointing at your person, the camera's looking down at them, or the camera would be looking up at them. So these are all shapes. You just have to learn to be able, what does it look like when you turn it and when you twist it? And I'll show you all of this as we go. Okay, so what are we doing? The hoodie. Okay, the hoodie is going to come around like this. Not as deep as the t-shirt. Where's the t-shirt at? Not as deep as the t-shirt. And then you're going to have your material. What am I saying? If you have nobody wearing it, you're going to have this come across one, and it's going to go around, making that oval again. It's going to go in front of the other, and you're going to have this material right here. It's kind of like, how can I say what this is like? Let me draw this right. Because of all the material that the hood makes, it's going to fold back behind your head. You wear hoodies, you understand what I'm saying. So basically one is going to cross in front of the other. So you're going to have this kind of like this. Can you see this? This oval. You're going to have one come down like this, and the other's going to come in front. Not too much. It's going to go up to the side, and you're not going to see too much of this. It's going to go there. And then you're going to have that little hole for your string. You can have this higher, and it depends on how much material you have, but most times you're going to draw somebody wearing that hoodie. So it can come higher, and you can have more material coming down the side. And the more you have, the more wrinkles or the more folds you're going to have. Now, the big thing about the hoodie and a hoodie and a t-shirt is that it goes across and it comes down. A hoodie is going to go way down. Like a t-shirt would stop right here. A hoodie seam is going to go way down and in like that. It's going to come in because they give you more space on the shoulder, and then in, and then your sleeves, and your sleeves are going to be big coming to small. Of course, you're going to have more material down here. Let's work with the sleeves. Coming to small, and it's going to come in, and then you're going to have your wristband, the collar. I was thinking collar, like that. Remember, it's going to be wide here, coming to narrow, and the same thing with the bottom. You're going to have, it's going to be wide, coming down to narrow. And that band. Now, if you're doing the pockets, a pocket's going to be long line at the bottom, short line at the top, and then curved lines like that. Of course, the pocket will be a little wider, but that's it. And then, of course, you put whatever you design you want on your hoodie. That's the fun part about doing clothes. You can do stripes. You can do whatever you want on your hoodie. So yeah. Now, if you had somebody wearing the hoodie, let's say this is the head, this is the neck, shoulder. Now, you're going to have, remember this part right here. this part that comes across. Like that. You're going to have that down here because it's not going to be shallow. It's going to be shallow. Where's that, the first one? It's going to be shallow, not deep like this. So you're going to have this. Then you're going to have this part that comes up, and depends on the size of the hood, the actual hood part. It can either come way out and in like this, or it could be close. So we can have this. Let's do this. Remember this, because this is important. This goes around, and this part comes up and goes around. Now, as I say, depends on the size of the hood. And if this is your head, let me do the head in a different color. So you will see, this is the head right here. And you see how where this hood comes in front of the head, it's going to cover that head. So if the hood doesn't have a lot of material, if it's kind of a tight hood, it's just going to come like this. You won't have as much opening like that. But some of it's going to sit on top of your head. So from the outside, depends on how much head you see, you're going to have that little stitch. And it's going to come down. And there's going to be a lot of wrinkles in the hoodie. And then like this. As I say, depends on how much of a hat part you have. It's going to come down. And if it's tight, it's going to come over the head and stay close and go there. And you will see some material from the back. So if I ink this, it'd be more like, because you always have so much hood, you're going to have a lot of room material for wrinkle. Like you'll have like a dip here, coming down here. You have material here. And let's say all that depends on the size of the hood. And if you're drawing a character, then all of this would be like shadow. Well, most of it would be shadow. So you won't really see inside there. It's a comic book thing. Yeah. And again, of course, remember the shoulders are going to come way, way out. So if his body was like this and his shoulders were here and his arms were here, that seam is going to come across like this. It's going to come way past his shoulders. So if his neck is here, and then here's his arm right there. A t-shirt would come across and cut right there, and then you have this part for the sleeves right there. But for a hoodie, it's going to come way down here and then across like this, and then you have that big sleeve. Remember that big sleeve going out because you have all this extra material. So t-shirts, hoodies, dress shirts, dress pants, dresses. So let's work on some tennis shoes. Let's do some tennis shoes. And I think that would probably be enough for you guys to start working on your clothes. So you have to figure out what type of clothes your character wants first and then put it on them. All right, got some paper. So when you do shoes, of course, it depends on the type of shoes you want. Let's see, if your foot is like a triangle, let's do this. Here's a triangle. Here's a whole triangle. Just do a shortcut for a foot. Take that triangle and you split it like that. So if I take this and I pull it apart, these are feet going to the side. It would look like this. And I pull that apart, it look like that. Now if I take this line straight up here and straight up here, straight down here and up there, that could represent somebody's foot, okay? Now if I wanted to not have somebody's foot all the way to the side, I would do the same thing, except this triangle wouldn't come out as far. This triangle would come down like this. And then I would square it off. That's going to represent the toe. So where's my, put some of these markers down. So if I'm doing a foot, let me do it in red, and I'll do everything else in black. If I'm going to do a shoe, this is going to be like this, and round it off a little bit for the foot. Now, if pants, if that, you can't figure that out, these are the guy's pants right here. And that's my shoe. That's the only part of the shoe you see is the red part. So knowing that shape, I'm not trying to draw toes or anything unless I'm doing sandals, which I don't do sandals. You don't do sandals on superheroes. So you're just going to have to put your shoe over this shape of this. So this, let's say this is my foot. I'm going to do it from the side first. Save some space. This is my foot. Round that off. It's going to be my leg. So if I do a shoe, depending on what type of shoe, is it going to be a tennis shoe, a dress shoe, or whatever, you have to cover that foot. Let's just say cover this foot first. Let's do this. And then shoes always have a heel. They're going to have that heel, so you're going to give some type of heel to it. Whether it's a boot or a tennis shoe, flat tennis shoe, a boot would come up at the heel and then come down and then like that. And you can give a bigger heel if you want. If you're doing like combat boots, you give them bigger heels. Like so. So again, it depends on what type of shoe you're drawing. So let's just do kind of a tennis shoe. And it's another thing about shoes. If you're going to actually design clothes, you have it's unlimited of what you do. So again, here's my foot. My foot is going to have like that arch like this. Realistically, the foot is arched. This is my heel, my toe. Now, a tennis shoe is going to have that heel. Every shoe is going to have a heel. The heel is going to curve around, and then like that. Whatever type of design you want to put in your shoe. But the big thing is this, especially for a tennis shoe, it's just your strings. Depends on the distance. If you're showing somebody's foot close up, the more detail you put. If you're showing it far away, you don't have to worry too much about it. So you have my shoe strings. And then the tongue of my shoe, which you have these stitches here. Goes up here to the top of my shoe. Of course, it depends on the shoe again. And then you have that tongue of your shoe, and you see a little bit more shoe on the side. And then you can just put whatever symbol you want. But again, go and look at what type of shoe you really want. And this just gives you the basis of how shoes are made. I can show you how to draw it, but I can't show you what to draw. And sometimes they have the little flap here. A lot of times they'll have a second line. This is really, when you really get detailed. And again, as I say, it depends on the type of shoe you have on. Yeah, that's my designer shoe right there. Now from the front, let's use this example. You're going to have the laces come across if there's a tennis shoe. And you're going to have your two pieces on the side. And again, it depends on how close you're seeing this shoe. Because your shoelaces have to go into something, a little hole and they give you a little extra material on the sides for the hole for the laces to go through. And then of course you're going to have your heel. You have to have your heel. You don't have to have this toe piece. You don't have to have that. There's always some kind of symbol or some kind of design that shoe companies always put on. This could be just stitching, but the sky's the limit when it comes to doing shoes. Boots are basically the same thing without all the extra this, but boots might be a little higher. Then they'll have the boot heel if you're doing like a soldier, which you just chop up, just draw some rectangles in the heel, in the bottom. And then you have your boot. You bring it up a little higher, bring your stitches up higher, your laces up higher, depending on the type of the boot. Yeah, as I say, just look for reference, and then see how these things are made. Now that I've given you a little bit of information on how stuff is made, you can kind of go and understand. Now, to say, just the last one would be like, say, a woman's heel. Women wear high heels, or they can wear low heels. The high heel is like this. You have the bottom, it comes up, and it curves like that. That is the bottom of it. So it depends on how much material you use on the shoe. Your heel is going to come down. And then, as I said, depends on how much material you use on your shoe. It's going to come up here, and it can cut here, go up here, and be on the heel. And then the foot would fit in here. Depends on how high the heel is. And of course, there's always going to be, some have the flatter heels. Nowadays, they'll have more of the higher heels. The higher heel, not this part of the heel, but this base part, and then the foot, like that. And it would be the same way at the front. If I'm drawing front foot, that triangle again, not way out like this. And then the other one would be here, like that. Just kind of a not so sharp triangle, like that. And then you can either curve this off just a little bit, or you can have it flat. Your legs are going to come up here. You have your ankle going to be here and here. I usually don't do ankles unless I'm doing something really close. And it depends on your shoe. If it's the woman's shoe, how's the cut for the woman's shoe? Or if it's a man's shoe, let's finish this woman's shoe before I get onto the man's shoe. Give her a nice little bit of a leg here. Ankle, ankle. Like that, and you won't see the heel, and since that's there, you can have the little straps that go across the ankle. Swollen ankles. And then just heel. Depends on how much heel you want on the bottom of that shoe. And if it's a man's shoe, tennis shoe, as I said, you would have your two things, this one and this. Your laces come across. I would usually give it like a little bit of a toe. Make it a little wider, and then give my heel. And if it comes up, it's one of those in front of your toe kind of heel, protector heels. And sometimes you see some of the heel going to the back. So if I ink this, and then on this part right here that comes in, And like I said, just give a little indication that there is a heel right there. This comes all the way up, comes all the way up, and usually there is a little cushion or something right here. Give more shoelaces and then a tongue for the shoe. And then if you want some socks, so you get some socks, some stripes with the socks, and then you are good to go. So I know some of that was could have been really detailed for you guys, but for those ones that really want to learn how to do real fashion or want to put detail into their clothes, I showed you. So the next one, I'm going to do the body, show you the quick body like this, but it's going to be a little better than that. And then after that, we'll do the body, the clothes, and the face. We'll put the whole character together. This is why I wanted to give you just a little bit at a time. And then at the end, we'll start putting it together. And then later on, we'll do characters that are actually interacting with each other. And I'm going to show you guys how to do the end result. I'm going to show you how to do a little comic strip where you have two guys maybe come in a room and talk and they do whatever and move around and show you the difference when you start to turn people around and what their clothes look like and so forth. But that all comes later down the road. So that's going to be it for this. I didn't want this to be so long, but the information that you got is really important. So that now you know how to do clothes. So stay tuned for the next video. I will see you guys later.